So I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, which is why my voice sounds a little bit weird. I promise you it's nothing else. But I wanted to start this channel as a way to communicate with other fans or the uninitiated about something that I love, the horror genre. What I wanted to talk about today is Netflix originals. These are films that are available worldwide, and I selected these personally because I wanted to make sure that anyone watching would have access to it if they have Netflix. So we're going to start off right off the bat with horror film number 1, and that is... So I wanted to dedicate a large portion of this video to Mike Flanagan, one of Hollywood's most up-and-coming directors when it comes to horror entertainment. He's directed a magnitude of movies and TV shows for Netflix, which I would like to touch on. So Hushed revolves around a young, deaf girl who in the middle of the night is attacked by a masked intruder. Now what makes Hushed so special, underneath its simple home invasion plotline, is how the director uses sound to build tension. I really love Hushed, and I think it's a great film from Mike Flanagan. It isn't his best film on Netflix, but I do think it's definitely worth checking out if you're new to horror and you want something more thriller-esque. It does definitely have similarities to films like Panic Room or Don't Breathe, and if you're a fan of those films, I can't see you not liking this one. It just makes use of incredibly effective sound design and set pieces to create a really compelling film. So Gerald's Game is perhaps my favorite film from Mike Flanagan's filmography. And actually, Flanagan adapted this, like Dr. Sleep, from Stephen King's work, which was created in the 90s. Now, what's great about Gerald's Game is that it takes place entirely in one singular location, and Flanagan is able to stretch that into an entire film filled with tension, awesome practical effects, and perhaps an ending that some people hate, but is actually quite faithful to King's original work. The film revolves around a woman who, after an unfortunate incident with her husband, becomes trapped to her bed and must escape by whatever means to survive. The theme of overcoming hardship is prevalent throughout this narrative, and in many instances we see our main character dealing with trauma in her past life and how it attributes itself to her current situation. It is a really beautiful film with a lot of heart, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Mike Flanagan takes Shirley Jackson's original 1963 work and completely flips it to create an innovative, modern, and terrifying take on the original story. The Haunting of Hill House is not only my favorite horror TV show of all time, but also just my favorite in general. Mike Flanagan is able to weave two completely compelling stories about past and present, as these characters become almost real to the audience. I cannot stress the performances in this. They are completely fantastic, and I haven't felt for characters, fictional, as much as I have these. A nice little tidbit about the show is that in every episode, Flanagan puts ghosts in the background that you can pick out with family and friends. I love revisiting this show, and I cannot recommend it enough. So going away from Mike Flanagan now, I want to talk about The Perfection, directed by Richard Stanley. Now this is a film that, knowing nothing about, is actually the best way to watch this. All I'm going to say about The Perfection is Allison Williams of Get Out plays a young musical prodigy whose broken past finally catches up with her. The way The Perfection is able to take time and use it as a compelling film element is incredible, and probably some of the best I've ever seen in a horror film. So finally, I just want to give my thoughts on some Netflix films that I wouldn't personally recommend, but do want to talk about just for fun. That's starting with Bird Box. Everybody and their grandma has seen Bird Box, and honestly, I think it's fine. It's not great, it's not bad, it's just, I would say, a lesser version of A Quiet Place, which is far superior in probably every aspect, including character, plot, and probably everything else. Sandra Bullock does a good job as the main character. I think that the kid actors weren't completely horrible, and the concept is good. I think it's awesome that you have these unseen monsters the entire film, which make you want to commit suicide. However, when it's executed in the film, it comes off a little more comical. Some of the acting when it comes to the death scenes are a little bit bad. And this is not a knock on the actors. I love you, Sarah Paulson. But yeah, her death scene. Not good. So if you like garbage, I would recommend The Bye-Bye Man. The Bye-Bye Man is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. The Bye-Bye Man is not a good film, but I was consistently laughing on multiple occasions. It's something on the level of so bad, it's good. But there are too many times where it's so bad, it's bad. It also has probably the stupidest monster ever put to film, the Bye-Bye Man, an elderly man in a cloaked hood who slowly but surely walks towards you in a menacing way. Honestly, if I saw the Bye-Bye Man, I would laugh and accept my fate. So anyway, those are the films I wanted to talk about today. Obviously, there's a huge collection of horror films on Netflix that you can watch. Definitely a lot of them are solid, such as Apostle or Veronica, but those are very specific to a taste, and I think these are most accessible. I don't have a catchphrase to go out with, so I'm just gonna drink my tea. Anyway, see you.